We are the Gujarat Technological University. Since its inception over a decade ago, GTU has been empowering young and curating minds to realize their true potential. Over 4 lakh inspired students are enrolled with one of the premier academic universities in India. With more than 450 affiliated colleges in its fold operating across 5 zones of the state, GTU, the International Innovative University, your place to move forward.
Hello students, today we will discuss about the natural resources and how we can understand the different part of our environment. So this is an introduction, and in this the term resource refers to anything that can be used to fulfill a certain need, derive certain benefits, etc. General resources are kept in reserved and are used when the need arises. Similarly, the natural resources are the substances which are available in nature and can be used by all the living beings in order to ensure their livelihood. So, these resources, for example, land, grass, forest, soil, water, etc. These are the examples of natural resources, and these are the daily needs. For example, food, clothing, shelter, which is required for any human to live on this planet. So, every society perceives the resources differently, and society's nature of work, its culture, and its level of development are the factors that contribute to the varied perceptions. For example, Andaman group of islands have a tribal community and named Ezong. People from this tribal community never use gold, silver, and uranium. Therefore, these three substances are not considered as resources by them. But the rest of the world has resources available from them, so it may consider the natural resources for the rest of the territories. These are the classification of resources. In that, on the basis of origin, we can say biotic or abiotic, and these are the examples for that. On the basis of a stage of development, we have the potential resources, actual resources, reserve resources, stock resources, and on the basis of availability in the form of how it can be available for that inexhaustible natural resources and exhaustible natural resources. On the basis of distribution, how in the form is available, whether it is ubiquitous or localized. On the basis of renewability, whether the resource is renewable or non-renewable. So first we will see about the renewable non-renewable resources. In that, as we can see over here, renewable resources can be defined as those resources which can be restored by quicker natural cycles. Examples are wind, sun, rays, water, trees, etc. And these resources have special cycle for that. For example, solar energy is regarded as renewable resource, even though it has a fixed life because solar strokes are considered to be infinite in comparison to human consumption. The non-renewable, in contrast, have different types, and depending on that, they have a rapid of transformation, and this can be of categorized as recyclable and non-recyclable. In that, for recyclable, they can be gathered once they are utilized and can be reprocessed or recycled to its original form known as the recyclable. So, for example, deposits of potassium, phosphate, and minerals that are used in their original state, such as mica, clay, asbestos. For non-recyclable, however, they have not a single way available to restore. For example, uranium fossil fluids that almost fulfilling the 90% of the energy necessity of the human. So, in comparison, we can say that renewable resources, which are known as for their name for the utilization purpose, whereas the non-renewable they have the finite time to use. The rate of consumption is higher in comparison to the rate of depositions in the case of non-renewable resources. Types of natural resources, we can say there are numerous types. In that, these six categories are there. And the first one is forest resources. We know the forest has a major contributions to an environment, and they have different layers, like for example, herb layer, shrub layer, and moss layer. And according to that, they have provided and different kind of needs for the human society, and they have approximately 90% of the world biodiversity due to the forest only. So what are the function of forest? Productive functions, in that food, bamboos, timber, and extensive range of compounds which are available, including essential oil, latex, pharmaceuticals, resins, alkaloids. For regulative functions, uh, these are the functions involve absorption, storage, release of gases such as carbon dioxide, oxygen, mineral elements, radiant energy, and water. For protective functions, it's various constitutive impediments for the of drought, conservation of water, oil, soil, and security against cold. Use, utilization, and exploitation of forests in this the fuel wood. We can say this is a vital source of energy, and it's useful for activities such as heating and cooking of rural areas. They generally collect that wood uh, stems, which are easy to torn apart and are moisten much. Fodder for forest also supplies fodder for cattle and other grazing animals. This acts as an essential source of food for animals from and hilly regions. Fencing, because of the dual benefits, protection and cheap maintenance, developing nations are choosing to create fences with trees and shrubs. Windbreaks and shelter beds, soil erosion in check, and soil improvement. These are the benefits out of them. Associated problem for forest. What are the associated problem? So these three are the main problems: deforestation and mining and timber. And in that, timber extraction in particular. In that deforestation, for example, forest land is covered with farms, factories, and are used for urban purposes compared to rural areas. And in that, 30% many of the forests are still converted into the barren lands by cutting vast forests. This is a major problem. So, what are the effects of the deforestation? Loss of species, increase in carbon emissions, water cycle disturbances, soil erosion, life quality, and disrupted livelihoods. These are the global problems and contributes to the uh, global warming. Timber extractions. Uh, Timber extractions have many problems because the cutting of the trees is there, and for that there are several types of extractions are there: the clear fanning, selective logging, machinized logging, hand logging, reduced impact logging. And these have the effects also, like a loss of cultural diversity, loss of biodiversity, loss of carbon storage capacity, effect on tribal people. So these are the major effects of timber extractions. Other we can see that mining is for the soil, a removal of the soil is there because of the we the gain of various minerals such as metals or rock salt, potash, diamonds, and are also extracted. So these man-made activities of stone mining uh, contributes to the major problem. And what are the effects of minings? In that, first one is that effect of land on deforestation, loss of biodiversity, pollution, effect on water, that is pollution, loss of aquatic life, spread of diseases, effects on tribal people is more compared to that other two resources. In that, they have to they may also get relocated near to mining areas which are prone to excessive pollution and contamination. This will produce in disease and other disorders. So we need to require the conservation of the forest and management. Appropriate management should be there. So these are the following strategies applied. First, for example, national forest policy, conservation of reserve forests, and involvement of local people, adopting of affirmation schemes, increasing forest productivity. These are the strategies that can be applied to preserve the forest quality. Next thing we will see about the water resources. We know that approximately 97.5% of the Earth's water is fully saline condition. The remaining 2.5% is available for human consumption, but all of it is not available in such a form that humans can consume it directly. Out of total fresh water, 1.97% is always in a frozen condition in the form of glacial or polar ice. The rest of the fresh water is available in different forms such as water in lakes and rivers that contributes to only 0.02%, groundwater 0.5%, in the form of soil 0.01%, and atmosphere 0.0001%. Therefore, it can be concluded that a very small amount of fresh water is accessible for direct human use. So this is the most significant role of maintaining various forms of water in nature is played by water cycle. So what are the types of water resources? So first one is the salt water resources, surface water resources, groundwater resources, and how we can uh, use or what kind of effects on over utilization of the surface and groundwater. And the first we can use that water as a commercial purpose, domestic purpose, industrial water use are there, irrigation water use are there, livestock water use are there, mining for purposes, public supply purposes, and thermoelectric power, hydro. These are the water can be used in the different areas. So what kind of problems that we can uh, face during the usage of the water resources? In that the floods are there, droughts are there, water crises are there. So floods they occur because of excessive rainfall and melting of the snow glacier. This is the main of the problem. And what are the effects of the flood? That is loss of lives and property, loss of livelihoods, decreased purchasing and production of power, mass migration, psychosocial effects, and furthermore, what are the drought? It's a very harmful natural hazards, and it has a far-reaching effects which differ in intensity from one region to another. So it's a kind of dryness to the land. And what are the effects of drought? There is a physical impact, impact on agriculture is there, social and economical impact is also there for the humankind. Conflicts and water crisis. So due to the overconsumption of water, there may be the loss of water or water crisis may produce. So examples are water conflict in the immediate east. Three river basins have shared the water resources in Middle East regions. As a result, there is a vicious war between Jordan, Syria, and Israel. And this is the example we can shoot it out for that. Kaveri water dispute. So this is a dispute exists in the downstream area whereas Karnataka has upstream position. Both of them claim control over the river and uses the resources extensively. Both states have a huge demand for the river water due to the complex cropping arrangement and some crops requiring large water supply. So this is another water crisis example, Indus Basin example, and Sachun Yamuna link canal dispute. These are the disputes due to the overconsumption of river water. So what are the preventions or precautions that we can use? For example, we can conserve the water resources and effectively through effective management. So this can be applied for the rainwater harvesting, properly effectively managed urban areas through the process of rainwater harvesting. Agriculture is there. By the use of ponds, we can preserve the water. Mineral resources, they are only have two types, metallic and non-metallic, which have the huge impact on human society. So common elements in the earth crust are oxygen, silicon, aluminum, iron, calcium, sodium, all other. So they have the different propositions are there. So majority of the element that can be found is oxygen, and after the silicon is there, and according to that subsequently. So what are the types of mineral resources? In that, first we can see iron, aluminum, copper, manganese, gold, diamond, coal, petroleum is there. So how we can what are the different uses of the mineral resources? So these are the uses are there for the there are 9 points to be included. And what are the associated problems for that? The first one is depletion of mineral resources. Environmental issues are there, pollution is there, and social problems are there. So what are the effects of over extracting the minerals? In that, carbon output similar to majority of heavy industries, mining industry is also depending on the use of fossil fuels for obtaining energy. Erosion and endangered species habitat, water use and waste, water ecosystem damage. For example, rare and potential valuable organisms are endangered due to the deep sea mining. Air is there, land is there. So how we can conserve that minerals and how we can manage that minerals? So in there, first one is the economy in using mineral resources. Practices in economy while using metals and minerals is the most effective method. Second one is the making finished product long lasting. Reuse and recycling, use of cheaper substitutes, and more efficient recovery of the minerals from minerals, and search for new resources and protection of existing mineral resources. These are the conservations. Next thing is food resources. Food resources is a substance which can be consumed by eating and drinking and provides the nutrients to our body. That we all know about that. So what are the associated problem for overuses of that food resources? In that, overgrazing is that. Then changes caused by overgrazing that can be on water quality, soil erosion, herd health, biodiversity, weak animal growth, and desertification. Next one is the agriculture is there. In there, what are the changes by the agriculture? That is, these are the changes. Approximately 13 points can be included. Fertilizer problems, in that eutrophication and causes of it may be due to the nutrient and fertilizer. So what are the consequences? That is algal blooms and aquatic life. Blue baby syndromes is there, soil acidification is there, then heavy metal accumulation is there, atmospheric effects are also there, and enhanced physical health effects are there. Pesticide problems. What are the pesticide problems? Evolution of genetic resistance, imbalance in ecosystem, creation of new pests, persistence, bioaccumulation, and biological magnifications as there, mobility, environment is there. So what are the points that would be that has to be covered for that conservation of the food and for their appropriate management? In the first one is improving yields on marginal lands, expanding aquaculture, that is the most effective way, rediscovering the forgotten foods, increasing fields, and empowering women farmers. Energy resources. So what are the energy resources? We have the primary resources, intermediate resources, and secondary resources based on the traditional use, based on the long-term availability, and based on the commercial application. What are the problems that we can face due to the overconsumption of energy resources? The first one is the depletion of energy resources, global warming, acid rain, generation problems in generation of wind energy. So if we use the conventional resources, then this problem can be minimized. In that we can see that fossil fuels are the nuclear energy is there, hydroelectric energy is there. So these are the conventional resources that can be applied. What are the non-conventional energy resources? In that these types are there: wind energy, biofuel, and solar energy, and tidal energy, hydrogen fuel energy, geothermal energy. Uh, so, what are the strategies to conserve the energy and through effective management? So, these are the points that can be highlighted. With the use of CNG, LPG, and other sources, we can effectively preserve our energy resources in direct or indirect way. Next one is the land resources. For example, we have the numerous types of lands are available. In that, forest lands is there, wetlands is there, grasslands is there, deserts are there, cultivable agriculture lands are there. So in that, the land can be an effective resource for the human conditions. And in that, agricultural land is 11% usage, and the rest of the forest lands is also have the major resource for that. So for land resources can be a main resource for that. And how the formation of soil take place? First, that is a weathering, padogenesis. So what are the associated problems that can be occurred due to the overconsumption of land resources? In that, land degradation is there, and landslides is there. What are the effects of landslides are there, and soil erosion is there, and furthermore we can say desertification. In that deserts will be come out due to the over usage of land resources. So how we can conserve the natural resources? That is the main thing. The first one is the role of individual in conservation of road. So in that, we have to conserve the water, conserve the energy, protect the soil, promote the sustainable agriculture, and that is the main thing that we have to include it for that conservation of our natural resources. Equitable use of resources for sustainable life cycles. In that, the social equity, a state of equilibrium should exist between the members of same generation and members of different nations. Furthermore, equilibrium should also exist between two different generations. A healthy, safe, and resource-rich environment should be handed over to the future generation. Second one is the economical equity. That the technology should assist developing countries in producing drought-tolerant varieties of plants, vaccines for diseases, and clean fuel for meeting energy needs. Such a technological development will enable developing countries to achieve higher levels of economic growth. Third thing is the ecological security. Ecological security is ensured through the development of process that supports the country's biodiversity, reduces soil erosion, increases the forest covered regions, etc. So, what can we use for the maintaining the sustainability of the nature resources? In the first one is reduce, that the solution of many problems lies in using less of what has been given by nature, and reuse, the current trends amongst customers promotes the consumption of more and more resources with focus on buying new and improved products. Third one is recycling, and that a product should be recycled then just be discarded. Although the process of recycling is not perfect as it requires lots of energy and creates a number of byproducts, but it is better option than throwing goods in a landfill. So what are the summaries for that? In that first one is environmental is the sum total of water, air, land, interrelationship among themselves and also with the human beings, other living organisms and properties. Environmental studies is a interdisciplinary study of how human beings interact with their environment. This discipline investigates all facets of natural, ecological, political, and social environment and the way in which they function together. So, multidisciplinary environmental studies give rise to appreciation of our natural world and human effects on its virtue and coherence to make human civilization viable and worthwhile. The resources utilized to attain this sustainability range from philosophy, economics, statistics, computer sociology, anthropology, and health to physics, chemistry, biology, engineering, and geology. Thank you. This is the end of the lecture.